William was with his guard on, ready to fight any time.
He is waiting for me to attack him first.
He began to jump around like he used to do when he used to practice kickboxing. Lael teased him a few times by pretending to punch or kick William, just to make him fail.
You don't have good fighting skills.
When Lael moved forward again, pretending to hit him with his left hand so he could actually punch him with his right, William anticipated him and threw a hook right on his head. Lael stumbled back, and with another quick movement, William punched him right in the stomach, making Aiken gasp for air. He already knew the pain of that, as well as a liver shot, which he considered the worst pain he felt. But he still couldn't help but fall on his knees, aching. William took the chance and kneed Lael on his face again, making his nose bleed and making him fall on his back.
You shouldn't mock your opponent, nor underestimate him,
William advised, with the same serious and confident expression.
Damn! I'm gonna die at this rate!
Lael was trying to stay conscious when he noticed William bending down with his hands open to choke him. Aiken kicked him in his genital area, making William fall back and growl softly as he was holding the hit area. With his head still pounding, Lael stood up as quickly as he could and kicked William in the head. The soldier grabbed Lael's foot in the air when he tried to hit him a second time and kicked the supporting leg, making Lael fall on his butt. He growled and threw himself on top of William as he tried to choke him with his hands. William, with all his strength, managed to grab Lael's right hand and twisted it. Lael screamed with pain. The soldier punched the detective on his face, trying to get back the advantage he began with, but Lael wouldn't allow it. Consumed by anger and willing to survive, William was elbowed the moment he tried to make Lael fall back.
If I learned anything from those crazy bastards, it was that I can never win if I don't give my all. Even if I'm almost physically doomed!
Aiken pressed his thumbs on William's eyes, squeezing them hard. The soldier screamed in pain as his eyes were getting crushed, trying desperately to push Lael away. Aiken grunted with disgust as he was successful in making William blind. He stood up and began to kick William's head repeatedly until he was all bruised and swollen. Soon the soldier stopped trying to resist, and slowly he stopped breathing too. Lael didn't stop until he heard Ray's eccentric voice.
Looks like we have a winner!
Lael looked at her, at the excited crowd, and then to William. His mind was beginning to be clear. He almost fell on his knees if Ray's men didn't grab him and sat him near the other winners. The pain of his right hand was getting worse as the adrenaline ran out of his body. In a matter of time, William's body was disposed.
I killed someone.
Lael gulped as tears ran down his face. He didn't know William very well, but Lael was sure he had a family. Someone he wanted to meet when they'd got back to their home. And Lael had taken away the chance of that possibility. He covered his eyes with his hands, ignoring the annoying voice of Ray.
Will anyone go back home? What was this feeling that made me want to end his existence? I know that it was a matter of life or death, but...
Aiken opened his eyes and looked up. Damon was fighting with Sophia. He managed to kill her, right after throwing her to the ground with everything he got. Her head hit on the floor with so much impact that she lost her conscience right there. It was easy for Damon to finish her up. Lael noticed that even though he was moving quickly like it didn't matter to him, Damon seemed to be upset. The crowd was especially euphoric this time.
Looks like we have a winner! Congratulations! We now have our last 4 fighters. We should do a quick break.
Ray danced around with 2 human femurs on her hands that she picked up from her bag while she was waiting for the fight to end.
Nah, just kidding. we'll advance right away to the semifinals.
She giggled as she faced Lael, Damon, Brian, and Josepha. The crowd approved. Lael noticed some of them betting on Brian to be the winner. Others were hoping that Josepha would win so they could have the chance to buy her. Damon was mentioned many times as well. Not many people were talking about Lael. Ray looked at them. She asked her guards to place the winners around her. As they did, she closed her eyes and began to sing the same song from the beginning, as she twirled in the same place with her arms opened, pointing the bones to whoever she was facing in that time. She stopped. One of the bones was pointing to Brian, number 8, and the other was pointing to Damon, number 7.
Yay! You are going to be the first ones. How do you feel about that?
She asked, excited. Brian spit on the floor, making her tilt the head.
It doesn't matter, does it? Let's go!
The guards pushed Lael and Josepha back while Ray moved away from the center as well.
Looks so tired already. I don't think he can do it.
Lael thought, biting his nail off. He certainly didn't want to fight with any of them. Nor Damon nor Brian wasted any time. They grabbed each other by their clothes and were trying to make the other fall to the ground. Brian had the upper hand for being taller than Damon, but even so, this last one was fighting with all his might. Brian tried to throw him on the ground, but Damon passed his arm around Brian's neck, trying to choke him. Although it didn't work once Brian bit his arm, making Damon scream with pain. The taller man managed to throw Damon on the floor. Lael looked away. If Brian had the advantage, it would only mean that Damon would die.
No! Not another one!
He wanted to jump in the fight and help Damon so both would run away from there. He knew that would be just a dream, a false delusion from his mind. When Brian was going to kick Damon's head, this one stood up in a second, and with all his strength, he tackled Brian. Lael suddenly remembered Edath tackling Simon. He wished they'd come to rescue him, but he knew they were probably asleep. And even if they noticed he went away, they wouldn't probably chase him. Lael was slowly accepting his fate of whether being killed by one of them or by Edath and the others. Damon quickly moved and applied the anaconda choke on his opponent, a MMA technique that Lael had seen once being used in a fight. He was surprised how well Damon could perform that. Within a few seconds, Brian would stop breathing, giving the victory to Damon. Lael took a deep breath. He was happy his friend survived.
We've got ourselves a winner! Don't forget to pick up your prizes if you bet on Damon to win.
Ray claimed while her guards would pick up Brian's body.
Next, we will have
In a blink of an eye, Josepha, who was quiet for minutes, ran towards Ray and punched her in her face, making her fall down. Ray had a confused and horrified expression on her face. Josepha began to kick her, but soon was interrupted by the guards who strained her.
My friends died because of you. I know I won't survive anyway, so I should at least make you feel what you make us feel, even if it's just for a second.
Ray was getting back on her feet when the guards held her. Lael got scared with Ray's expression. He never saw that scary expression on her.
You stinky bitch! You are nothing but a toy in my hand. Why do you think you can defeat the player? You don't deserve to have a painless death.
Ray growled, and with a quick movement, she sliced the girl's neck with a small razor she had in one of her pockets. Josepha opened her eyes widely with pain.
I knew I wouldn't have a painless death. Anyway, you psycho.
Josepha mumbled as blood was dripping from her neck and mouth. The crowd was watching what was happening like it was an action movie.
Take her to the side, and don't let her kill herself.
Ray cleaned some of the blood resulted from the punch and made a face.
Aww, now my face is ruined. Well then, it was a little hurried, but we now have our 2 finalists.
Lael was kicked to the center and looked shocked to Damon. He didn't realize that rooting for Damon to win would only mean he had to fight him. Lael shook his head, but Damon had an unemotional face, which made Aiken tilt his head.
The fact that he killed 2 people already is probably making him accept murder as a way to solve problems.
We will have our last game with 2 friends. So emotional.
Ray hugged herself and made a sad face for a brief second. Lael was tired of her mood changes and theatrical expressions. He felt sadness that Josepha didn't manage to kill her. As he was trying to get up, Aiken stumbled on his feet and collided with her.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Well then, let's start our last fight of the night!
She went away to a side, leaving Lael and Damon alone in the middle of the fighting zone. Lael couldn't help but notice the crowd cheering for Damon, while he would try not to look to parts of bodies and blood on the floor.
Damon, what are we going to do?
Lael approached him slowly. Without predicting, Damon punched Lael in the face, making him stumble a few steps back. He shook his head and cleaned the blood coming from his nose with the back of his hand.
What the fuck? Why did you do that?
Isn't it obvious? I'm playing the game. I want to live, so you have to die.